day on the job, and we already have so many questions for him. What's it like at the top? Does he have any chance of winning the election? And when will these crazy grocery prices start to come down?
He's our new leader as of this morning, and there's no time to waste because no pressure, Chippy. We're neck deep in a cost of living crisis. Grocery prices have seen their biggest spike since Britney said this. And freight companies warn that's about to get worse when the government rolls back its transport relief package later this month. Salaries are crappy, productivity's low, and inflation's at a near 3-decade high. Our boy from the hut has pitched himself as a man of the working class, so how is he going to make their lives better?
Importantly, the government is not the leading contributor to inflation, but at the moment they are a bystander and they could be doing more to make sure that inflation isn't as high as it is right now. Instead of trying to do lots of stuff everywhere and not being able to achieve much, but costing a lot to do all of that work, being a bit more focused with government spending and making sure that they're working on the areas that make the most difference and leaving those that might be costly but without as much of a difference, put them on the cutting block for now and revisit them possibly later on.
But others fear the working class hero may be all talk.
If he was most focused on helping out those people who need it the most, then it would go to those at the lower end in the form of benefit increases and also working for family increases and potentially some sort of improvement in the accommodation supplement. However, if he wants to get re-elected, he needs to funnel that money to the middle, and the middle actually doesn't need huge amounts of help. And he's on a kicking to nothing because every time we get an inflation figure that's higher than 5 or 6%, which is what we're going to see this year, the opposition jumps in and blames the government.
Well, our brand spanking new Prime Minister Chris Hipkins joins us now. Congratulations, Prime Minister. What was your favourite thing about your first day?
Oh, thank you. Look, it's been a phenomenal day, actually. I have to say, the visit to Government House, you kind of can't top that, really. It's we've over the last week or so, it's all been a bit overwhelming. But when the Governor General kind of reads out those words that I've just become the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins and the Prime Minister of New Zealand, it sort of really kind of sinks in at that point. So pretty cool day.
Yeah, was it weird when I called you Prime Minister?
Yeah, I'm still getting used to that, to be honest. When people in the office are talking about the Prime Minister, I keep thinking, they're talking about Jacinda. So I'm sure that will adjust in the next few days.
Did you get a bit of any handover tips? Did Jacinda say, like, if you put your glass up against the wall, you can hear Christopher Luxon meditating, or, any little tips?
She gave me a few tips on how to live with DPS following me around, because obviously that starts from today, and so I'll have to get used to that. But her main contribution today, actually, because she went up to Government House just before I did to tender her resignation, and as she was driving off, she was driving out as I was driving in. She sent me a text message that just says, "Tag, you're it."
Great. But should we be positive about inflation plateauing today, 7.2%?
Oh, look, I think we all want to see inflation coming down. It is a global phenomena. You'll see that our inflation rate, announced today, we are starting to see some change in the quarterly numbers, heading in the right direction on the quarterly numbers. Australia's inflation rate's higher than ours, UK higher than ours, the European Union higher than ours. We're still sort of below average, but that's not to say that doesn't mean it's hurting for Kiwi families. A rising cost of living really does bite into Kiwi, household budgets.
Chris, Labor's polling the low 30s. Winston won't work with you. The Greens aren't moving. There isn't really much chance of a win in October, is there? Why even take this job?
Oh, look, I think we can absolutely win in October. What New Zealanders will see in the next few weeks is that we're going to absolutely refocus as a government. I think we have heard the message from New Zealanders that in some areas they think we're doing too much, too fast. I think we'll take that on board. We've also heard from Kiwis that right now, with the cost of living and with other issues that they're facing, they want to see us focused on getting those bread and butter issues right. That's exactly what we're going to be doing.
Chris, the historical record is a little patchy. Are you indeed our first ginger Prime Minister?
Well, I haven't heard of any others. Unfortunately, in the corridors of Parliament where they hang the portraits of the Prime Ministers, most of them are in black and white, so you can't really tell.
Let's just assume it, eh? It's quite a nice sort of quite a nice achievement.
Hey, look, I'll own it.
And does that mean that you're going to do something about subsidising sunscreen, Chris?
Well, I tell you, look, sunscreen is vital. I was at Ardern yesterday, and if there's one thing I learned about Ardern, it's that you have to cake yourself up with sunscreen. I did leave Ardern one year looking a bit like a tomato, so yesterday was not going to be that day for me. I didn't want to have my swearing in at Government House marred by a whole lot of sunburn.
Well, congratulations once again, Prime Minister, and thank you for your thoughts tonight.
Thanks very much, guys.